Alright, so we are in our little hunting cabin for tonight, just this little bunkhouse. We just got back from scouting on the Kawasaki Mule. We kind of just zipped around the property a little bit. So I think Kyle and I have a pretty solid game plan for tomorrow. So
I already saw a little yearling out in the pasture, so it's a good sign.
Yeah, just bedded down. So it's still raining a little bit, and I think it'll be raining pretty much all day tomorrow, but they'll still be moving. So we're going to get a couple hours of sleep and then hit it in the morning. Alright, so I'm in the blind now. Got everything set up. My gun's loaded and chambered. The blind's holding up pretty well. We got out a little bit late this morning just because we set our alarm for 5:22 and it was just raining cats and dogs, and it was still thundering like crazy. So we figured we probably weren't going to see anything in a thunderstorm and we'd be pretty miserable. So it's calmed down a little bit. It's still raining pretty good, but I think we're at a point where deer could be moving. It's not necessarily likely, but they could be, and especially if there's any break in the weather, that's when we're likely to see something. But I've never killed anything from sitting inside the cabin, so we decided to go ahead and get set up. Kyle's down the road just a little bit. He's sitting kind of in the shade of a barn, kind of tucked away so he can look out on this nice little opening where a deer could come out of the woods. So we'll just sit here for a little bit and see what we see. Looks like the rain is finally starting to let up a little bit, which is a good thing because it's been raining all night and all morning. I actually waterproofed my whole blind with like a silicone spray, which worked out really well on the outside of the blind, but I didn't waterproof the chair on the inside, so I didn't anticipate how much water actually, or how much condensation really would gather on this chair, so my butt's a little bit wet and cold, but other than that, I stayed pretty dry and pretty warm, even in all this crazy wind and rain. So I've seen tons of robins this morning, and a couple squirrels, and some other birds, but no deer. I think just all the rain had them kind of hunkered down, but with the rain kind of calming it down, this afternoon could be good. So probably gonna sit in the blind for just a little bit longer, then kind of go plan out where we're gonna hunt this afternoon. Go grab lunch, take a little break, and then get back out here. Well, I just saw a bobcat at about 150 yards kind of running along the wood line. It wasn't long enough for me to take a shot at him, and you know, with us deer hunting in the same place tonight, I don't know if I would take a shot anyway, maybe. But he was just kind of cutting the corner on the wood line, so I saw him for about 2 or 3 seconds, not long enough to get the gun up. But always cool to see stuff like that. Alright, just got out of the blind. Let me go find Kyle, see how he's doing. What'd you see?
I forgot this means stop. I was waving. I didn't see anything.
Alright, so just got back in the stand from lunch. We grilled big thick steaks, and we had baked potatoes with bacon and cheese and butter and salt and pepper, and so it was a really big hearty lunch, and it's making me kind of sleepy, honestly. But back in the stand, it's still raining. It's supposed to rain all day, all weekend really. But now it's just kind of at, I would say, a light rain or heavy drizzle. So it's not necessarily bad for hunting. And in fact, the wind calmed down a lot, which is a really good thing. I think the wind is actually worse than the rain. But I'm kind of looking at the same pasture this evening. I kind of changed my angle so that instead of looking at the pasture kind of at a diagonal, now I'm sitting at one end of the pasture, so I have a better view of the woods where a deer is likely to come from on an evening hunt. So all settled in for a nice long sit in the stand in the rain. Hopefully the rain doesn't get much more than this, but either way, hope something comes out tonight. I just had 2 deer come into the far end of this pasture. They didn't really come into the pasture, they more just kind of stayed on the edge of the wood line. But it's about 4:20, 4:15, so it's exciting to see deer coming in early. A lot of times, you know, when they're feeding, it's right before dark, but I think with all this rain, they've been just laying low all day, so they're ready to get out, they're ready to start moving around, they're ready to start eating. So it looked like a doe, a pretty good sized doe, and a yearling, but this county's buck only. So the doe would have been in range to shoot, but just not a legal buck. So letting them go. But they were out there, they kind of fed around for about 10 minutes or so, and then just kind of trotted off the same way they came in. Didn't look like they were spooked or anything, just they had somewhere else to be apparently. So hopefully the same thing will happen again, but with a big old buck. Alright, so I saw that doe and that yearling at about 4:15, but that was actually the only deer I saw tonight. I saw a couple birds and squirrels, but that was about it. So it was cool to see them. Unfortunately it wasn't a buck, but you know, that's how it goes. It's almost completely stopped raining. It's still drizzling a little bit, and I think tonight actually might be kind of clear. So I'm worried that the deer are all going to be coming out tonight, but there's a chance we might be able to catch them in the morning. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of the blind now, go clean up some of my gear, grab some supper, get some sleep, and then we'll hit it again tomorrow. Alright, it is our last morning of the hunt. I'm all cozy in my stand. It's kind of sprinkling a little bit, but not really raining bad like it has been. But I've been in the stand a little less than an hour and had a deer run in this morning. It was a doe, I think it was a yearling, acting real energetic and playful, just kind of zooming around this little pasture, so it was fun to see. Definitely not a shooter deer at all, but you know, it's evidence that they're moving, and always cooler to see something rather than nothing. So I'm gonna sit tight and see if a buck comes in. If it gets real calm, I may rattle and try to pull one in. Well, it's about 10:15 and it's been a couple hours since the last deer I saw, so it looks like unfortunately I'm not going to see a buck today, but sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. It's always fun just to get out in the stand and just kind of enjoy a peaceful morning in nature. So kind of bummed I didn't see anything, but definitely don't regret my time out here at all. So going ahead and gonna go pack up the stand, pack up the stuff kind of in our cabin, and head out. Until next time, stay safe, be free, and never stop seeking adventure.